What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Joey Wright. What's up, boys?
What up?
I'm a little upset with you, Simon. I was mocking you the entire intro, the song. I did every movement you did, and you didn't laugh once.
Not once.
I didn't even see you once. Joey, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
I even have my little vape Bic pen. And you like I was really selling it. And
you and Scott Farrell mocking my vaping before the show start. Guys, joining us today, we have a special guest here, host of the award-winning Draft Sharks podcast, Matt Schauf, is joining us to play some poll perception. For those of you that do not know him, you can find him on Twitter at SchaufDS. It is right there below his face on the screen. He is a two-time IDP accuracy champ over on Fantasy Pros. I know our friend Craig in the chat is hyped to see some more IDP representation up on the screen. And Matt, we are so hyped to have you here with us today. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I wish I had gotten the memo that I was supposed to wear an old sports hat, though. Feel a little left out.
Jay, mine's just a normal sports hat.
All right. That's why it's turned around. So
yeah, exactly. So you can't tell.
I got you.
Check your spam. It must have gone in there. A lot of our hat related memos end up in spam.
Yeah, I'm in a room in my house where I could probably find one if I took a second. But we'll see the viewers that.
Yeah, JL's hat's so old the front fell off. That's how old
the whole front is just a big hole.
Whole front just fell off.
If we asked you to go get a hat, it wouldn't be the first time we asked someone to find a hat on stream this month. In fact, we asked Dave Kluge to find 13 hats on stream and wear them all at once.
We did.
So one wouldn't even be that big of an ask. Well, guys, today we brought Matt here to play some poll perception with us. Before we get into that, though, we got some people in the chat here to say hello, ready for today's game. We got Craig down here. Said, good afternoon, fellas. I believe this is our guest's first appearance on an FYF show. Craig is our historian. He keeps track of all the records here on the game show. So your name will be added to the record book. We got Albert in here saying hello, everyone.
What up, Albert?
Victor with the happy Monday, bro. Chachos. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Victor? And Victor saying, smash that like button. Appreciate it, Victor. We got Draft Sharks in the chat saying, get back to work, Matt. Matt's at the dentist right now, but we'll let you know whenever he returns. Also, we got Herms down here. Says, wow, the company account is so rude. Weird. Anyway, hello, gentlemen. I wonder who's running that Draft Sharks account. Damon here saying, hello, super cool people. Happy Monday.
Hello, Dame.
What's up, Dame? Scamper saying, FIF, good afternoon. Welcome in. And we got our friend Mauricio. Amigos, what's up, Mauricio? Welcome in, my friend.
Mauricio.
Every time somebody said Monday in the chat, it was shocking to me. Usually Mondays feel extra Monday. For some reason, today doesn't feel like Monday at all. It feels like
Tuesday?
Wednesday.
It
feels like just the middle of the week. Does anyone else feel that way, or are you sitting firm on a Monday morning?
I feel like it's a Monday.
Feels like a firm Monday, yeah.
Damn. I'm alone here, Matt.
I don't know, man. I work from home most often, so it's like the days kind of run together.
Yeah.
Every day's Monday in this basement. We got Swamp in the chat here at work, and he's crying. At least you're not sweating at work today, Swamp. I hope it cooled down a little bit for you. Well, guys, like I said, we brought Matt here to play some poll perception today. Before we get into that, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not already following our guest on Twitter, you need to go and remedy that right now. You can find him on Twitter at SchaufDS. It is right there below his face. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the link in the description. You don't even have to type anything, just one click. After you follow him, head on back to the YouTube video where you clicked that. And make sure you subscribe to our channel at Front Yard Fantasy. And if you hit the little notification bell, you'll make sure you never miss us live every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some fantasy football game show fun. One more reminder for you guys before we get into our game. If you're not sick of us by the end of this, myself, Joey, and our friend Tim Wright will be live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football pub trivia on the Bettercast, where you guys are the contestants. So we've got 30 questions prepared, football and Nintendo themed this week. So if you know your Nintendo knowledge or your football knowledge, come on down. Whoever has the most points at the end of those 30 questions is going to be our champion. Come see if you can dethrone some of our high-scoring competitors. Dame and Ladarius show up every single week, man.
They're on the Mount Rushmore of pub trivia. If we had a Mount Rushmore.
All right, well, you guys ready to get into some poll perception?
Oh my God, Simon. Yes, I'm really ready.
Too bad, because Grim had a question for us. Grim came in here asking about an article that was on the NFL website talking about the fan bases that most deserve a Super Bowl title. Matt, this is not so much a fantasy question, but more of just a general NFL question. Of those 6 teams, the Lions, the Cowboys, the Jets, the Bengals, Bills, and Jags, who do you think is most deserving of a Super Bowl title?
First of all, kick the Cowboys out of there. Come on, who are they kidding jumping in with these other teams? So let's limit it to the teams that don't already have one. I guess we can leave the Jets in. Theirs came a long time ago. I mean, I'm an hour away from Buffalo, so if I went anything other than the Bills, my house would be egged and all of my tables would have fat guys falling through them. So I got to go Bills here.
Bills is where I went first, but part of me just knows something hasn't been right since Blake Bortles didn't win that conference championship game to take them to the Super Bowl. Like, there was something in the universe that's felt off since that game went to the Patriots and not to the Jaguars. And I think the Jags winning a Super Bowl might set it straight. So I'm going to go with the Jags here for that reason and that reason alone.
Hard disagreement on that.
Joey, are you agreeing with Matt here?
Yeah, no, I like the Jaguars, but I have friends that are both Jaguar and Dolphins fans. And to be able to say the Buccaneers have won 2 Super Bowls since they've last won any means a lot to me. And I don't want to lose that. So I would go Bills too.
John Luke?
I think I would go Lions here. I just want to see Dan Campbell up there giving a Super Bowl winning speech. Just man's littered all throughout.
Nobody is going to argue against that. I don't think anyone's going to argue against seeing Dan Campbell win one, except maybe the Vikings fans.
We did it, man. We fought hard, man.
We got Scott Fish in the chat, hyped to see Matt up here. He said, long time. Long time,
Scott.
Long time.
Long time, Matt. And Scott down here also saying, I really don't understand why you continue to start the show before I'm in the chat.
Yeah, I know. It's
rude.
Joey, care to elaborate?
I have nothing to say to Scott Fish right now.
That's fair.
Also, Hermson here saying if the Nintendo trivia cuts off at like 2006, I might have a shot. For those of you that have never joined us for pub trivia at night, you don't have to know necessarily about Nintendo to get these questions. If you know about football, there's a good chance there's going to be a route to knowing the answer for all of them. So don't let the nerdiness of the Nintendo theming scare you away from coming to play some sports trivia tonight. All right. I'm going to explain the rules, and then we are going to get started with today's game. The game is poll perception. It is all about the public's perception of fantasy football and NFL players. Before the show, I found 7 polls online asking about the fantasy football or NFL landscape. I'm going to propose these polls one at a time to our contestants. So, JL, if you're up first, I would ask you, hey, John Luke, what percentage of people chose Saquon Barkley over DeAndre Hopkins in a dynasty league?
86%.
You give me a percentage? 86%. Always going to be on the first option, side A. The closer you are, the more points you're going to get, up to a max of 10 if you are exactly right, 1 point if you are 15 away, and it scales up within there. Now, before I reveal the actual answer, Joey and Matt, you guys will be responsible for guessing whether the actual answer is over or under the line JL set. So JL said he thinks 86% of people chose DeAndre Hopkins there. You guys have to choose whether you think the actual answer is higher than that or lower than that. Get it right, you'll get 2 points added to your score. Get it wrong, nothing happens. You just don't get anything, and it'll be your turn shortly. We'll go like this through 2 full rounds, 6 polls, until we get to our 7th and final poll, where there's no more of this over-under nonsense. It's all just guessing the number. Everybody's going to write down the number they think chose side A, either on your phone, a piece of paper, or if you don't have anything nearby because the host of the show didn't tell you to bring anything to write on, you can put it in the chat after the others have revealed theirs. Whoever's the closest is going to get the points on that one. And whoever has the most points is our poll perception champion. You guys ready to get in there?
Yeah, you hosting today?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, let's go. Throwing a poll in the chat.
I got the polls today. The order for today's game is going to be Joey, Matt, JL. So, Joey, you are going to go first, followed by Matt in the middle, and John Luke is going to be closing us out. We'll stay in this order throughout all of the rounds. Also,
JL looks really determined today. I actually got a little intimidated just now. I looked at him and I was like, oh, shit.
Coming for you.
Ready to go today.
Coming for you.
And Alex tapped in the big guns. So Alex is a poll perception champion over here. Alex Korf, your colleague at Draft Sharks.
Why do you think we brought him in?
he's the poll perception god, but he said, I got a man who's going to make me look like a scrub at this whenever he texted me saying you were coming on. So you got he talked you up pretty big.
If we're talking guessing numbers, it's him over me. If you're talking, I don't know, jokes over numbers, that's my category.
Perfect.
That's our favorite metric.
You're on the right show. Scott Fishing here also letting us know that Vikings fans actually like the Lions too. So they'd be happy to see Dan Campbell win a Super Bowl as well. All right, Joey, your first poll coming your way.
I'm ready.
Which side do you prefer in 12-team Superflex Big Play Bonus Dynasty? Side A, bonus. Justin Herbert, or side B, A.J. Brown plus Derrick Henry? It did not specify what the big play bonus was in the poll.
They never do.
They never do.
The big play bonus only goes to kickers, so it actually
the big play what?
I'm sorry. The big play what?
Bonus. What did I say?
Penis. Oh, that's what we were wanting.
Oh, well, that's a different type of game. That's in the show after the 8:00 show tonight. We talk about that. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think Herbert's going before AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. Them combined though, that's quite a little doozy of a stack. It is super flex dynasty. So actually because it's dynasty, the Derrick Henry side loses a little bit of value because he's going up in age. Trying to break this down in real time and stall as much as possible. That's a good point, Joe. I didn't think of it that way.
While Joey's stalling, a reminder to everybody in the chat to throw your guesses in there. If you're right, we'll shout you out. If you're wrong, we'll mock you relentlessly. And if it's in between, we'll probably just say it and forget about it within 5 seconds.
We're like goldfish.
I think the Justin Herbert side's going to win this. I'm going to say 57%.
57% on the Justin Herbert side. Matt, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Herbert is over or under Joey's guess?
I say over.
You're taking the over on Joey's guess of 57%. John Luke, are you agreeing with Matt here, or do you think it's the under?
I think it's the over too. I don't think Derrick Henry's enough to bridge that gap from A.J. Brown to Justin Herbert.
People hate Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah.
What do you do? Not right now.
He's aging, apparently.
Yeah, he's the only one of these three actually getting older, so that's working against him big time.
Yeah, I don't know why he chose that.
Well, A.J. Brown has to be careful. If Devonta Smith is too good this year, then he's going to start getting older too.
Oh, no.
Then it's going to start changing.
Works?
I'm pretty sure as soon as Devonta Smith starts showing up, then A.J. Brown is just getting old. We have some guesses in the chat. Our friend Scott popping by. What's up, Scott? Welcome in. Scott. 58%. We got Scampers down here with 55%. Mauricio guessing 51%. Albert was 63%. Dane coming in with 63% as well. Craig at 68%.
Oh, Lord.
Did good.
Too high.
Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Justin Herbert over A.J. Brown plus Derrick Henry in this poll was 88%.
Wow.
Joey, unfortunately, that is going to be no points for you. It's going to be 2 points for your competitors for correctly picking the over.
Jeez.
And nobody was quite close to that one. And there was a pretty decent sampling size on this poll, over 600 votes. 88%.
I apologize, Craig.
Craig down here with 68 was the closest, but still 20 percentage points off. Nobody would have scored points, including the chat. Joey, would you be taking the Justin Herbert side of this one, and by that large of a margin as the poll suggests?
I don't know about that large of a margin, but I would take Justin Herbert. I think it's a A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry together in a Superflex dynasty. I definitely want the quarterback, but I think that's fair to give up for him.
Matt, you mentioned people hate Derrick Henry right now. Are you part of the group that hates Derrick Henry?
I'm part of the group that always looks at what the market thinks and then alters my thinking based on that. So if everybody were in love with Derrick Henry right now, I'd be like, guys, I think you're forgetting how old he is. And if everybody hates Derrick Henry, I'm like, guys, I think you're forgetting that he was just slightly younger than this last year and did pretty well. So I would still take the Justin Herbert side here, unless the big plays are stiff arms. If we get stiff arm bonuses, I think the Derrick Henry side gets a big boost. But it's like a 65-35, I would say, in favor of the Herbert side here.
John Luke, do you agree with that take? I know you generally like values on some of these aging running backs in redraft.
In redraft, sure. In Dynasty, no. Unless I already have one of those running backs, I'm not trading for one of those running backs. So I'll take side A of this all day.
We got Maria in the chat saying, I'm here. And Scott letting us know, isn't Derrick Henry 58 years old? Just
59, actually.
59 this year, yeah. And Scamper's coming in saying, people have been hating Derrick Henry for 3 years, and he just keeps getting older and embarrassing people. I remember like 3 years ago being, okay, I'm done predicting when Derrick Henry's going to fall off. And that was after 3 years of predicting he was going to fall off. I know it hasn't actually been 6 years, but it feels like It's been years since that even started.
I just didn't know Derrick Henry had that much in common. That whole he keeps just getting older and embarrassing people. I do that. So
that's true.
We're basically the same person. So that's pretty cool.
And Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
So Mauricio absolutely shocked in here about that poll result. Matt, do you think quarterbacks are overvalued in Superflex?
I think if possible, they might be overvalued and undervalued. I've found that the top end guys, people can't race fast enough to get them. And then that second and third level, people probably exaggerate a little bit the value of. And then past that, the group starts to get underrated, where I think the edge in Superflex is to target those guys that don't excite anybody, and you collect them, and then you have enough throughout the year. And people are like, well, how did you get both Justin Jefferson and, I don't know, Austin Eckler on the same roster?
It's because my quarterbacks are Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jared Goff. That little platoon you got rolling. Well, Matt and JL, that's going to earn you 2 points each, pushing you ahead of Joey early here.
It's bad.
Hey, Matt,
that's Joey.
It's time for your first poll.
Oh, baby.
Here we go. Here's what I want to know. Which side would you prefer in Dynasty? Side A is Tony Pollard, and side B is Ramondre Stevenson. What percentage of people said Tony Pollard in this poll?
I say that this is 63% for Pollard.
63% on the Pollard side. Final answer?
Oh, yeah. That was my football number in high school, so I'm sticking with it.
We love sentimental numbers here. And it adds up to 9. Shout out our friend Josh. JL, do you think the actual answer is over or under Matt's guess of 63% on the Tony Pollard side of this poll? Or, I have forgotten to mention our other option here, Queen Bee, exactly the same. Never been hit on the show, not once.
It's a pretty good guess. 63%. People love Tony Pollard. It's 26. Ramondre Stevenson's what, a year or two younger? 24, 25? That's right. I'll take the under.
John Luke taking the under here. Joey, are you following JL or are you taking the over on Matt's guess of 63%?
I thought under before JL spoke his answer, so I'm not following him. I'm just agreeing with his answer. Yeah, I do think it's going to be under. I think it's a little bit closer between the two. I think it's a really good line, though.
I think it should be close between them, but I think Ramondre Stevenson has more people that doubt him just because of the Belichick factor.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, we got 63%.
People are hyped on Pollard, too.
I've seen so many. I had to limit the amount of Pollard polls in today's game because about 60% of all polls from this past weekend had Tony Pollard in them. Everyone's talking about him. He's like the inverse.
Are you sure they just weren't polls and you just kept seeing Pollard?
You just kept adding in the art.
Yeah, I didn't have my glasses on, so that is a possibility. We had some guesses in the chat as well. Scott, right in line with you, 62%. Craig with 54. Dame coming in at 72. Ooh. Scampers down at 39%. We've got Albert at 45 and Mauricio at 59%. So answers on both sides of you right there. And Herm's down here saying, damn, Herm's catching strays with the Kenny Pickett slander. Hey, he was part of a winning platoon of quarterbacks, if I remember correctly, in the way that we referenced him here. Well, guys, the question was, which side do you prefer, Tony Pollard or Ramondre Stevenson? Matt guessed 63%. We had double unders from our two contestants here. The actual percentage of people that chose Tony Pollard over Ramondre Stevenson in this poll was 45%. Ooh, Albert in the chat getting this one exactly right.
Good job, buddy.
Nice job, Albert. Matt, unfortunately, that is going to put you outside of 15 percentage points away, and JL and Joey are going to get 2
what is this game right now?
That one. Some crazy polls so far today. Matt, you seemed a little surprised by that one. Which one of those players would you be taking? Would you be taking Tony Pollard or Ramondre Stevenson?
I'd be leaning Pollard. I hesitate to say he's the better player. He's shown us a little bit more just for a longer period. We obviously haven't seen him lead the backfield. I don't know. Stevenson is like, I can't argue against him, but I also can't be totally comfy with this day 3 guy who has the 1 year of that kind of use in the Patriots offense. I would never be comfortable with either guy is the best I could say about it. Picking one over the other. I like them both, but I won't be comfortable with whichever one I pick.
right now feels like the best time to sell Tony Pollard. I mentioned this earlier in the offseason. He's 26, or at least for Dynasty. He's 26. He's going into a situation he's going into a season where his situation has improved. And so his value is really, I think, the highest it's probably going to get, barring a top 3 season from Tony Pollard this season. So if I'm in Dynasty, I'm trying to trade Tony Pollard.
Because even if he does have a top 15 season, he's going to get older.
Yeah.
There's going to be new running backs drafted next year.
If Derrick Henry can't stop time, I don't think Tony Pollard's going to touch it.
No, Derrick Henry's so much stronger.
So much bigger.
Just way bigger. Well, guys, that's going to make the score of this game 4-2. JL has an ever so slight lead going into his first poll. Before we get to that, though, Scott Fish had a question for us, a moral conundrum. He said he's hungry, and his 5-year-old's box of extra toasty Cheez-Its has a few handfuls left in it. Do I eat these delicious, tasty treats and get rid of the evidence? Or does he leave his 5-year-old's Cheez-Its? Matt, what would you be doing here? Are you scarfing those Cheez-Its or are you leaving them for your kid?
This is an easy one. You take one handful and then you get away with your snack and the kid doesn't know any better.
Ooh.
And you're not hungry anymore.
Exactly. That does require willpower to be able to stop after one handful of Cheez-Its, though.
I mean, that's the challenge of being a parent.
Yeah, this is what you've been training for this whole time.
Yeah.
Scott, I have a question about this box of Cheez-Its in question. Once you become a parent, every food item in your house that your children are about to consume goes through a dad tax. Have you taken your dad tax from this box of Cheez-Its? If not, you are entitled to the rest of the box.
Is this a Roth box of Cheez-Its?
Yes.
Because if so, you've already taken your tax. You're good to go.
Also, is your 5-year-old allowed to shove their hand into the box or do they pour it into a bowl? Because if your 5-year-old's shoving their hand straight into the box, I'm not eating any of those Cheez-Its. Not a single one of them.
Everything in your house has 5-year-old germs on it. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, in my house?
Yeah.
If you have a 5-year-old.
Oh, thank God. It's like, that's terrifying.
Probably your house too, though.
Just when I'm not looking while I'm streaming, they run around out there and cover it in germs.
Lick the Amari Cooper jersey. Like,
John Luke, are you ready for your first poll? You got a slight lead here with a chance to extend it.
I'm ready.
Here is your first poll. Dalton Kincaid is currently tight end 5 on Keep Trade Cut. This ranking is side A, too high, side B, too low, or side C, about right. What percentage of people said tight end 5 on Keep Trade Cut was too high for Dalton Kincaid?
Let's go with 42%.
42% on the too high side, John Luke. Final answer?
Yep.
Locking it in. Joey, do you think the actual percentage is over or under John Luke's guess of 42%?
I think John Luke put an incredible guess up right now. And I'm very tempted to Queen Bee this. Because I don't think about right's going to get much, but I think too low and too high are going to get most of it. How much? I'm just going to go, I think it's over. Yeah.
Joey taking
it's a good guess, JL.
Over.
You came to play today.
Matt, do you agree with Joey that the actual percentage of people who said too high is over 42%, or are you taking the under on John Luke's guess?
I'm going under. I think it's in the 30s. I think people love Dalton Kincaid right now. There's going to be lots of about right. There's going to be a smattering of too low, and somewhere in the 30s, maybe like 37% too high.
All right. Well, we've got 42% from John Luke, and JL, you successfully split the room. Your opponents ended up on opposite sides of your guess, 1 over, 1 under. We've got some guesses in the chat for this one. Craig in here with 42%. Herm said, I'm going to go aggro and guess like 70% TH. Dame with 55%. Dustin saying should be 99%. We've got Scampers with 63%.
He's the Bills fan.
And then here comes Fantasy Sven. What's up, Sven? With 0%.
0%. You've never seen Twitter poll with 0%, Sven. Get out of here.
Albert coming in with 39%. So right in line with what you were thinking there, Matt, and real close to JL's guess. The actual percentage of people that said Dalton Kincaid was too high being tight end 5 on Keep Trade Cut was, let's just throw this round out, 78% said that he was too high on Keep Trade Cut at tight end 5. That is going to be no points for you, John Luke, but Joey, that is going to add 2 points to your score for correctly picking the over, bringing you up to 4. And this is really anybody's game at this point. Scores are super close. Before we move on from that one, Matt, are you in on Dalton Kincaid? If you were voting on this poll, would you have said about right, too high, or too low?
I would say too high, because pretty much any rookie that jumps in at 5 right away, especially at tight end, is too high. There's a much better chance that a year from now we collectively don't think he's tight end 5 than that we think he's there or higher.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's playing into it. I've fallen into the rookie tight end trap so many times. It's just so much fun to get excited about. Joey, are you in on Kincaid going into this season, or is it more of a dynasty play?
It's more of a dynasty play, but like I'm not in on him as a tight end 5, but like as a top 12 tight end, I can follow that. I can imagine Josh Allen giving him a tight end fantasy worthy season, but not as a top 5 tight end. That's just way too high.
Herms down here was the closest one in the chat with 70%, only 8 percentage points away on that.
Not even
nice
aggro.
Jobs. Not even aggro. Yeah, you could have gone more aggro. And Herms down here with the cowboy hat. And Craig saying Twitter got it right for once. John Luke, are you your guess was a little bit off on this one. So I'm guessing maybe you were thinking more on the too low or about right side here.
I just thought more people would be, I don't know, skewed by rookie fever in this. I was thinking 33% split across, and then I think too high was going to be the highest one. Just didn't think it would be that high.
Didn't think it would be that high. Rookie fever fighting against the tight end glob that consumes us all about halfway through the NFL season. All right, well, that first round is done. 4-4-2 going into round 2. There is one new mechanic as we enter this round that I'll introduce before we start our next set of polls. This new mechanic means that instead of just over, under, and queen bee, there are 2 more options available to you as well. Options that would have been really useful for all of you in the last round. You can choose way over and way under as well if you think your opponent's guess is more than 15 percentage points away from the actual answer. Now, this is a double or nothing mechanic, though. If you guess that and it is 15 percentage points or less over, you're going to get 0 points. But if it is 16 or more, you will get double points. You're going to get 4 points for picking that option. Joey, with that being said, you ready for your next poll?
I am absolutely ready for my next poll, and I can't wait for you to present it to me, Simon.
Also, Craig said Simon really needs to change clothes to look like a mechanic for this round to really make Joey giggle because of our new mechanic.
Yeah, every time he says mechanic, I picture someone working on a car.
When you said there was a new mechanic, I was like, where's the guy in coveralls?
See? Every time.
I'm going to start bringing a wrench and just like at that part, rub a little like grease on my face. Bring out a wrench.
New mechanic.
Craig, I need to talk to our historian for a second. Can you start pulling some data on which hats I win the most in? I'd really like to know that. Like a lucky bat, you know, like the baseball player. If you could start pulling that data, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I bet it's when you wear your glasses that you win the most.
Oh, God.
All right, Joey, here is your next poll. The first poll of round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which side do you prefer in a 12-team Superflex dynasty? Side A, Chickasema Conquo in the 2023 102, or side B, Kyle Pitts in the 2023 105? What percentage of people chose side A in this poll?
Man, that's tough. I like Chig a lot, but I don't like him enough to. I mean, Kyle Pitts side's going to win for me. The 102 versus the 105. That's where I'm trying to figure out where the value goes. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now that we've seen landing spots, I'm not sure that the 102 and the 105 have as much room between them as they did prior to the draft. I am going to say side A, 37%.
37% on side A.
Can I drop that down to 34?
Sure, I hadn't locked it in yet. 34. You want to lock that in?
Yeah, I just it came over me that Joey need to drop it down.
Drop it down, Joey.
Yeah.
Man, when that message just gets sent through your brainwaves, does that happen often? You're just overcome by the message. Drop it down, Joey.
Every Saturday night about 9:30.
All right. Well, Matt, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose side A is over or under Joey's guess of 34%?
Simon, you said that you've never seen a Twitter poll with 0% on one side. I mean, this is one that should have been 0% on one side, but I'm sure that it's not. And I would like to go what's way under that number because it should be, but I know that Twitter collectively has lots of people who just understand Kyle Pitts just because he has let them down to, versus what they expected. So I'm going to go just regular every day under the number that Joey put on side A. And just to show you how serious I am, I made sure that my voice cracked halfway through that because I'm getting emotional.
Beautiful.
Emotion's good.
It
helps.
It was moving.
So,
watching you get to that level here. John Luke, I know it's tough to follow that emotional plea that was just given by Matt, but are you going to take the under on this one as well, or are you taking the over on Joey's guess of 34%?
I'm going to also take the under. I think there's no way. There's just no way it could be that high.
There's no way from John Luke. Well, we got some guesses in the chat as well. Dame coming in with 18%. Fantasy Sven with 5%. Craig,
oh man,
right in line with you with 35%. And Scampers on the other side with 33%. Herm said, I feel like A is going to have disproportionate love. I'm guessing 40%. Albert with 27%. Tim coming in with 23%. And Mauricio coming in with 29%. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose the Chigoziem Okonkwo in 2023 102 side of this trade was 23%, meaning another person in the chat getting this one exactly right. Tim nailing that one. Joey, you are within 11 percentage points, meaning you are going to get 1 point for that poll.
Watch out.
And your opponents will both get 2 points for correctly picking the under on that one. So, Joey, that's going to bring you to 5. Matt, that will bring you to 4 and put JL at 6 points. 4, 5, 6. This game is neck and neck. Chat loving the Tim hype on that one. Nice job, guys. Joey, I did want to ask you about Mr. Chigoziem Okonkwo before we move on from this poll. I know he's a player that's he's a darling of fantasy Twitter right now, a popular sleeper going into this year. Do you think there's credence to that? Are you buying into him as a potential breakout at that position, or is this fool's gold at the tight end and just another guy in the glob?
I think he isn't a glob, but I'm happy to draft him as a top 12 tight end. I think everything that he has laid in front of him in Tennessee, outside of Treylon Burks, who's their top target going to be? Is it going to be Derrick Henry? I mean, I think that he's got a good chance to possibly lead the team or be second in the team in targets. And anytime you've got a tight end with that type of a role, I mean, it almost feels like they could easily finish as a top 12 tight end. He was down in South Florida practicing with the people that started working with Travis Kelce in his second year, which gives me a little bit of hope with the narrative base. So yeah, I'm excited to draft Chig, and I like where he's going, like around the 10th, 11th round. He started to creep up a little bit though. He needs to come back down.
I'm curious where he ends up come the start of the season, because it's starting to climb. Matt, you mentioned people not knowing what they have with Kyle Pitts, and I've seen that as well. It's just some disappointment in his first couple seasons. You sound like maybe you're not disappointed, that you're hyped about Kyle Pitts in Dynasty.
I mean, last year was definitely disappointing, but it's a matter of realizing where the disappointment is. As a rookie, he just didn't happen to score touchdowns. He got all the targets we were hoping for. Last year, he got even more target share than he did as a rookie. He just didn't get the volume because the team barely threw, because it had Marcus Mariota, so it kind of made sense to barely throw. I think they might very well barely throw relative to other teams this year. I think they'll throw more. It's just that if we look at what he has gotten and what he's done yardage wise, he's already started to do some historic level things for a tight end through 2 years. So I'm going to go ahead and bet on that going forward. I don't think it would be close between Chig and Okonkwo. This is the kind of trade offer that if I got somebody offering me Kyle Pitts for the Chig side, I'm like, wait a second, is this for real? And I take like 5 to 10 minutes. I make sure that it was a for real thing and I'm not messing up and on the opposite side of it before I make sure to hit accept. I like Okonkwo, but I think that we have to wait and see if he's actually going to get that playing time, because we've gotten into trouble before saying this guy's very efficient, this guy's physically talented, and what's in his way to getting opportunity. That might be the case, but there have been lots of cases where just because we can't see what's in his way doesn't mean there's not anything in his way. So that's my hesitation, is especially in Tennessee, we've seen limited opportunities for tight ends over the past several years. I want to see that he's going to play more than 60% of the snaps to get those numbers. So I'm a little bit below market on Chigakonkwo right now.
You bring up a great point, and especially for receiving options in those offenses. You can look at a depth chart and reasonably predict where the carries are going to go usually with those running backs. But if a wide receiver leaves, if a top target leaves, if a team has the myth of vacated targets, you can't just slot him over to Chig and say, here we go, he's going to be the main guy. You're right. There's players on that roster that we may not even know, or players not on that roster yet that may step in and command a decent target share there. Craig has a solution. Jail, what do you think about this? Move Ryan Tannehill back to wide receiver, start Will Levis at QB, Ryan Tannehill
I like
wide
it.
receiver too.
Let's move Craig to head coach. Call it a day.
Craig's head coach. Scampers his offensive coordinator, and he's making another change. Will Levis, the tight end. Here we go, baby.
One more change.
Who's the quarterback?
We don't know.
We've got Will Levis, the tight end. Chig, a tight end.
Willis.
Burks and Tannehill.
Willis, yeah.
There we go. It all comes back to Malik Willis. All right. Well, after that round, the score is 4-5-6. Matt, we are on to your next poll, your first poll of round 2. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Which player would you prefer? Which side would you prefer in Superflex Dynasty? Side A is Stephon Diggs plus the 2023 111. Side B is Javonte Williams plus Nico Collins plus the 2023 107. What percentage of people chose side A in this poll?
I'm going to have to say 68% in favor of the Diggs side. I think that Diggs is tough in that he's getting a little older. I just don't think there's anything on the other side that excites people enough. People are not buying into Javonte Williams, overall right now. People don't hate him, but they're not buying into him coming off the knee injury. And there's not enough difference between the 107 and the 111, I think, to make that up. So I think it's heavily on the Diggs side, 68%.
68% on the Diggs side. John Luke, you taking the over or under on Matt's guess of 68% here?
68% is a pretty good line. I agree with Matt on Javonte Williams. I feel like people should be excited about him, but I get the concern. I mean, until we get some clear reports from his camp that he's back and ready to go, I don't think this is going to be a close trade. So I'll take the over.
John Luke taking the over. Joey, are you following JL here, taking the over, taking the under, or way over, way under here?
Yeah, I'm going to go over as well. There's now rumors that the Broncos might be the ones to land Dalvin Cook, that they're maybe one of the 1-2 teams that has the offer on the table for him. I believe it was Mike Garofalo on NFL Network was talking about this morning. So, yeah, I mean, Javonte Williams, like everybody knows how much I love Samaje P. Ryan that watches the show here, but if they're talking about bringing another running back in, that's honestly something's probably wrong with Javonte. So I'm definitely over on this side A. I think is going to win. But his line is so good that I can't say way over.
We got double overs, and we got some more answers in the chat. Scampers coming in with 85%. Ooh. Dame with 73. Ladarius with 71. Craig coming in with 70. Maria with 77. Albert saying 65%. And Herms coming in with 69%.
Nice.
All right. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose the Stephon Diggs and 111 side of this poll was 62%. Matt, that is going to put you 6 percentage points away, which is going to earn you 3 points for being within 10, putting you up to 7. And that is no points for your opponents who both guessed the over, and it was ever so slightly under.
Bonk.
It's going to push you into the lead.
Hold on.
Okay. Right.
We talked a little bit about Javonte Williams there. Matt, do you share the concerns for Javonte, or do you think maybe because of his suppressed value, this is a time to trade for him?
Yeah, I think if anything, I would be buying because I think the price will be depressed by that knee injury. I mean, he's already been on the field. We'll see as we get into summer just how close he is to full strength. But I think dynasty-wise, we got to expect he'll be all the way back by next year. There will still be time beyond that. He's not that old yet. Nico Collins is an interesting piece here. I don't know that he is enough to sway it either way. Honestly, though, in this trade, I'd be on the Diggs side because I think he might strike you at first as the type of player that you want to get out on now before it's a year too late. I think we've got several more years from Diggs, though. He's got 3 more on his Bills contract. He has not shown any signs of decline. And that little spring blip where we thought he was holding out, it's already over. So I would even take a shot that maybe somebody's worried about that, thinking that he's got to fight with the team and that's going to lead to something. So I like the Diggs side, but yeah, I do like Williams going forward.
The number 29 just scares the shit out of dynasty managers. They see that 20 and they're like, oh God, he's going to be 30 any day now. And then I'll never be able to trade him. And so they just start fire sale with all their 29-year-old wide receivers. John Luke, you are a big Diggs fan, both personally and professionally.
Very true.
Do you agree with Matt here that he still has multiple years left at that elite level?
Yeah, I do. Stephon Diggs is just one of those top wide receiver talents. And yeah, I think going into those young 30 years that he's got at least 3 years left. It wouldn't even be until probably after a 3-year window that I would even start to think about it.
Well, Strong Style Ninja in here, I'm guessing, likes Diggs with that all caps Diggs in there. And Scamper said Diggs is very fashionable. Yes, so hot right now. All right. Well, after that poll, Matt, you have taken the lead, and we are going to move on to John Luke's final poll and the penultimate poll of today's show.
Let's go.
John Luke,
yep.
Are you ready?
Yep. Don't call it a comeback because I'm in the middle.
There we go. Which player would you prefer in Dynasty, JL? Side A, Travis Etienne, or side B, Christian McCaffrey? What percentage of people said Travis Etienne in this poll?
Oh, now I see why you set the order of the contestants.
I randomized the polls beforehand, just so you know, except for this poll.
Except for this exact poll. Oh man, this is tough. Travis Etienne or Christian McCaffrey. I think more people are going to fall on the Christian McCaffrey side right now still, even in Dynasty. I'm going to go with 42%.
42% on the ETN side. Joey, do you think the actual percentage here is over or under John Luke's guess of 42%?
It would need to be 27% to be way under.
If that's the math.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh.
If that's the math.
I'm just going to go under.
It would need to be 26 because it has to be more than 15 away. It's not inclusive.
I'll just go under. I think people are starting to really fall out on Travis Etienne. Pretty much every bust article you read right now with what draft value is, Travis Etienne's there listed for running backs. I believe he's going as the RB11 in a lot of formats, and that's just way too high right now for him. So yeah, I think McCaffrey's going to win this. Matt,
Joey took the under. JL guessed 42%. Are you taking the under or over on JL's guess?
It's a good number.
Or way over, way under, or queen B, just to put all the options out
for
there.
Me. I would definitely take McCaffrey between them. I'm gonna go slight over, just for fun.
Slight over, just for fun. Well, we got some guesses in the chat. Scamper's coming in with 16%. We got Strong Style with 0%. Dame coming in with 13%. Craig with 20%. Ladarius thinks it's 17%.
I made a bad choice.
Strong Style with 10 to 20. Herms with 28. Albert with 27. And Strong Style, JL said, wow, that's too high. Also, we got Jay and you saying howdy from the Outer Banks. What's up, Jay? Welcome in. You're just in time
Inner Banks
for the results of this Travis Etienne Christian McCaffrey poll. JL guessed 42%. You split the room, JL, one under and one over. The actual percentage of people that
42.
chose Travis Etienne over Christian McCaffrey was
18%.
Yikes.
It was 18%, which means, John Luke, no points for you. But Joey, you are going to earn 2 points, which means going into our final poll, the score is going to be 7-6. Whoever gets the closest on this last poll will be our champion for today. Before we move on from this poll, though, Joey, you talked a bit about Travis Etienne and his perception right now that he's being listed on every bust article. Do you agree with that take? Do you think Travis Etienne is a player drafters should avoid at his current cost?
I think if he's going as the RB11, I think he should be avoiding him. He finished as the RB17 last year in points per game, and arguably everything around him will be kind of taken away from him. You got Tank Bigsby that's probably going to take some goal line carries. Looks like might be a little bit more of a pass-friendly offense with Calvin Ridley coming in. It's just I don't know what Travis Etienne can do to improve with what the Jaguars have done, if that makes any sense.
Matt, we did see flashes from Etienne last year, and that's probably what's driving his value up. We know the big playability that he has. Do you agree with Joey, though, that his draft cost is a little too high right now?
Yeah, I think he's overrated. I think his opportunity share is coming down. I think they told us that. Doug Peterson said he believes you need multiple backs. Then he drafted an SEC workhorse in round 3. He's saying expect there to be less work for Travis Etienne this year. And I mean, even before Tank Bigsby showed up, where were the receptions last year? After James Robinson got traded, the team threw the ball to Travis Etienne less. So if they don't like him that much as a receiver to begin with before anybody else shows up, that makes me worried about him in general.
Could it be a pass blocking issue and not they don't like him as a receiver issue for Travis Etienne? Coming back, that was not his rookie year, but his first year playing in the NFL, right?
I mean, if it is, I don't like his chances of getting better at that this year when the option before was him or JaMychal Hasty.
You're right. When JaMychal Hasty's the one that they're putting in there instead, it's probably not a good sign. Well, in the chat, Ladarius, the closest with this one, 17%. Nice job, my friend. Absolutely killing it. We got one more poll for you guys to determine the champion. The chat knows this game is close. Oh, wait, that was to Ladarius. Never mind. They don't know anything. All right, I'm going to put this last poll up here. You guys will have about 30 seconds to write down your answers. I'll ask you to reveal them, and whoever is the closest is going to get 5 points and will be the champion of today's show. If 2 people are tied, you will split the points accordingly. And if there's still a tie after that, I'll find an emergency poll last minute. I'll pull one up, and we'll get a tiebreaker going. All right, here is your final poll. Which of the following running backs is most likely to bust this season? Side A, Tony Pollard. Side B, Alexander Mattison. Side C, Rachaad White. What percentage of people said Tony Pollard in this poll? I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to get your answers down on that one. And while we're doing that, let me remind everybody about the Fantasy Alarm Fantasy Football Draft Guide. You can find it at fantasyalarm.com. If you haven't done it yet, you can start a 7-day free trial, and that is included. Or you can purchase the draft guide for $26.99. Your favorite analysts from FA are over there helping you guys win your leagues and set you up for success in your draft. So find it at fantasyalarm.com. Dale, you look like you got your answer ready.
I got mine.
Matt's got his game face on. Looks like he's got his answer ready.
Just waiting now on Joe.
Joey looks like he's floundering up there.
No, I was just making it a little more bold.
There we
go.
So
we could see it easier.
Okay. Let's go ahead and see those answers. Joey with 18.
Dang it.
Oh, there we go.
11 from Matt and 16 from JL.
Okay.
We've got 11, 16.
People hate the Cowboys. Let's go.
All right. We had some answers in the chat as well. Craig with 15%.
Damn.
Herms with 13. Mauricio coming in with 11.
I almost went 19%. I changed it at the last second.
We'll see if it pays off. Ladarius with 9. Strong Style with 22. Albert with 12%. And Mr. Scamper saying capital considered. Pollard 47%. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Tony Pollard as the most likely to bust in this poll was 27%, meaning Joey, you are our poll perception champion for today. Matt going to come in second place in this one, and John Luke down in last place with a final score of 12-7-6. Congratulations, Joey.
Maria, remember when Joey would only write his answer on it? And I have a picture of us together, man. Oh, man,
he bungled it.
I really did bumble it.
The result of
winner, I'm the loser.
The result of this final poll, just so you guys know, Tony Pollard was the lowest vote getter at 27%. Yeah. Alexander Mattison next lowest at 34%, and then Rachaad White won the poll at 40%. People thought he was the most likely to bust.
That's pretty consolidated. It's much more consolidated than I thought.
Yeah. Matt, which one of these would you label as the highest likelihood to bust this year?
I mean, I would definitely not have Tony Pollard up as high as 27%. I'm surprised. I guess I would have to go Mattison over White just because he has more competition for touches than White does in Tampa Bay right now.
Yeah. Joey, as the Tampa Bay fan, how are you feeling about Rachaad White? Because I feel like the consensus is pretty split on what they're going to be doing with him this year.
I'm optimistic. I think his draft value has stayed low enough to where I can draft him and feel that if he does bust, I'm not losing too much because he's still going as I think he's the 28th, 29th running back off the board. So at that cost, especially in Dynasty, I'm happy to take him at that point.
John Luke, do you know if Tony is short for Anthony or if his name is actually just Tony?
Just Tony.
Sick. That's a pretty sick name. Well, guys, on that note, Joey is our winner, but that is going to be it for us today. A photo of Matt and Joey to close the show out. A big thanks to our guest, Matt, for taking the time to come on and play some poll perception with us. If you guys are not already following Matt, go and remedy that right now. He's on Twitter at SchaufDS. You can also find the link below us in this YouTube video. We will be back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time for some fantasy football pub trivia. It's NFL X Nintendo night following that exciting Nintendo Direct last week. Just come and hang out and answer some questions about your favorite games and your other favorite game. Oh, you looked like you were about to say something. On that awkward note, that's going to be it for us today, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. Until then, adios, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
7
stars.